we started off in early 2020. So February 8th, 2020 was our big launch. So we had a preview event where actor Vijay Deverakonda, who has been the face of our platform so far, launched the app and the platform. And since then till today, we have had a really long journey. Now in November, we are at the, we have seen a lot of things, and the most unexpected of them all was the pandemic. So as a new platform, we had a lot of things to do, but the pandemic kind of put us to a stop. But from there, we have moved on, and now again we are back to doing a lot of things which we would like to introduce to you all. So with me, I have on the call Mr. Ramu Rao Jupally, who is the promoter of AHA, and he is also the executive director of My Home Group. My Home Group, to anyone, to introduce to all of you, is a very leading name in the construction. I mean, they are into the construction, cement, education, and media industry, and now they ventured into entertainment with AHA. And then also on the call is Mr. Ajit Thakur. He's the CEO of AHA, and he's the person who has been there from the inception till now. So basically, both of them are on call here with me. Thank you, guys. Thanks, and thanks to all of you for joining us. So I'll also put context to the call today. So we are here. This is the first time we are speaking to the national media. So far, all our interactions have been with the local media here in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. We have reached out to the Telugu audience because us is a 100% OTT platform. But we have a lot of things happening, and we want to introduce ourselves to all of you. Ramu Rao sir will start off talking. Hi, sir.
Yeah, hi, Brenda. Good afternoon, everyone. And thanks for taking time and coming online. So the idea is to meet everybody to just give a brief of our AHA background. So as Pranita already mentioned, I'm Ramu Rao and I'm from Hyderabad. And we are basically a part of My Home Group, and which is leading into construction, cement, and education, and also the media industry. So media, I think recently you all must be knowing TV9 is what we acquired recently last year. So that's part of our group now. So where we are the majority promoters. And to the extension of the news, we also thought that entertainment is obviously the next obvious thing. And this idea came up is, with one of our friends, Geeta Allu Arvind is a close friend of us, our family. And then when we first thought that we'll enter into GC, that was the initial idea. But then we realized that, it's a sunset business and future is all OTT and digital, what people are talking. And that's when this idea started. And then immediately it was a very natural thing. Geeta is one of the leading production houses in Telangana state. And then we thought it's a good collaboration because we come with a huge financial background and also a lot of marketing experience and other strengths and the media strength with Steven and all that. And Geeta is a local production house. So I thought it was a very good combination. And immediately the idea started and we just kicked off initially. And then I think this was last year in April, May? June? April last year is what we first discussed. And this February 2020 is when we started launching this AHA app. And also, I would like to share other partners who are in this AHA. When we initially launched, we wanted to invite Vijay Deverakonda to be part of the launch, the preview launch. But to the surprise, because OTT is the future, he sent me a check actually saying that I would be part of this. Instead of launch, I'll also be part of the platform. So it was very glad for us also, seeing that everybody is interested in this platform and this is going to be the future. It just gives us more confidence. So that's how Mr. Vijay Deverakonda also came on board. And then also Dilraj Gar is one more leading producer of Telangana. He's also part of on board along with us. So that's how we all collaborated together and started this venture called AHA. And since the launch from February 8th, the journey has been amazing. And obviously Ajit is there from the beginning of the journey. And the numbers and targets, what we have set initially, let's say I just put a target of 5 million users in the initial days and also X number of subscribers, whatever. Entire targets it was more than our expectations. We finished the entire target in 2 months. Ajit finished all the targets in 3 months. So our numbers are unbelievable. So it gives a lot of confidence for us, that this is the future and, we've been doing a great job so far.
You want to show them the numbers?
Yeah, the numbers I think you can just put on. Since the launch, the journey, I think almost there are 18 million unique visitors so far. And
we today morning crossed 6 million installs.
6 million, okay. So then we've crossed 6 million mobile installs so far. And that's tremendous response, obviously. So it just says that in the short span of time, it's been amazing. And we thanks all our Telugu audience across the states and across the global Telugu speaking people even in the overseas who's given us such tremendous support for us. And it's a good journey so far. So other aspect is also our ambition is to grow in Telugu, because 100% why we choose Telugu entertainment is because this is a big market. As you all know, Telugu market is one of the biggest markets after Bollywood, and even the Bahubali, which is the biggest cinema of the entire industries, come from Telugu market. So we believe it's a very strong market, and also we believe in being regional local. And also we believe that local market is something has got huge penetration, huge potential there. And as per the vision, our focus is to make AHA as a Telugu premium destination for content. And as part of that, we've been, like I said, response is good, and we have a huge pipeline coming up. A lot of shows lined up for the next 1 year, and the content catalog is good. The team is working hard on that. And Ajit also will just brief you the other points.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Ram. Actually, there are quite a few friends of mine on the call.
Right.
Who haven't spoken.
I know there's so many members, I can't see their faces, but yeah.
COVID time working.
Yeah.
So firstly, I was telling Mayank from Mozart, and thank you, Mozart team, that we should have done this in person and got Ram to come to Mumbai or Delhi. But the times we live in is difficult. And also this week we have a big event which we'll talk about. So we'll come and see you sometime early December, hopefully in person. It's been a fascinating journey. So when I met Ram and Arvind sir in January last year, I was wondering that, my home group did not have any entertainment missions then. Arvind sir has been a happy producer for 30 years. But I think the OTT bug is hard to resist. And it's been a fascinating journey with both the promoters. They've been extremely supportive, very ambitious. There's never a dull day at AHA. And I thought I will take this time to tell you a little bit about the Telugu audience, because sitting in Mumbai and Delhi very often, for us, the beginning and end of the marketing campaign and the audience is Bandra to Andheri. But the country has so many regional pockets. In fact, we keep saying that we want to be the national local player. So originally, when I started out, the mandate was to go across 4 languages. But Ram's father, who's the chairman of the company, Mr. Ramesh Rao, said, Ajit, why don't you travel a little bit and come back and tell us? So April, we started the company, and May, I was on the road from Vijayanagar, which is the north of Vizag, northernmost part of Andhra Pradesh, all the way to Tirupati, which is down south. And I traveled through Vizag, Rajmandri, Vijayawada, Guntur, Anandpur, and then obviously Tirupati. And it was fascinating. So we had seen KPMG has been working closely with us from the beginning as consultants on the brand strategy. Girish is a dear friend, and he's really helped us a lot, Girish Menon. And as we traveled the length and breadth of the 2 states, my first realization was that whatever data we've seen from the telecom partners, where Telugu was the highest in terms of the skew of daily video consumption on mobile, whatever the people I met in person, they were a lot more than what the data shows. There is a place called Rajmandri in one of the Godavari districts, where almost everybody I met, and we were doing a lot of consumer groups, they watch 7 to 8 hours of content every day. And it's unreal, and it's across. They watch it in the morning, they watch it in breaks at work, they watch it in the evening, and then of course post 10 p.m. is like OTT time for them. And so that was fascinating. And one of the first calls we took in May is that let's first go and see a proof of concept of a local player taking one language and being the dominant force in that, but do it fast enough. And that is what we did. So the first thing in that was to find a product that was kind of semi-ready. Like I was telling you, the promoters have been extremely supportive. We had a lot of local solutions which were significantly cheaper, but we went with a company based in New York called ViewLift, who are our primary product partners. They're a SaaS platform, and they had a ready to go to market with obviously all the packaging and the brand values. And so we got the product ready. By December, we started testing it, and we said, let's go and launch. We of course didn't know the pandemic was coming. It was a mixed coincidence. The pandemic has both helped us and harmed us. But the big learning was on Feb, we did a preview with Vijay Deverakonda, and from there we've never looked back. Every number that we have seen has surprised us. So we had an X target for installs, which was 5 million for the year. Just to give you a sense of it, there are about 10 crore people between the two states, of which about 5
100
crores, so 50 million are available with a decent internet bandwidth to watch video. I think different numbers tell us that YouTube, Facebook are at about 30 million. So we said let's get to about 10 to 15% of that in year one in terms of people who've sampled AHA. And in less than 6 months, we are at 18 million. That's the kind of opportunity that's there in this market. We also chose to go SVOD because I believe that there are two models to take in this country. Go the AVOD route, which has a certain mass appeal, but beyond a point, I think from a monetization, from a future growth point of view, I think SVOD is more exciting. I think there's a belief that young India will not pay for content, but I think young India does pay for content, as we have seen. While we don't talk about the subscription numbers, the target that we had for subscription was X, and we are today, as of yesterday, 2X of our subscription target as well. Okay. And from whatever benchmarking we have seen, I think we'll be the fastest to the million subscribers in terms of from whatever data I have seen elsewhere. And we are at 365 rupees a year. So we are priced for just Telugu content at par with some of the best national players who are also at 365. So I think SVOD was a conscious strategy. We wanted to more replicate. I have no, nothing to hide in saying the Netflix model than the AVOD models, because I think that gives a certain sense of premiumness. People are willing to pay for good content, and that is what has proven in the numbers. The second thing I wanted to touch upon a little bit about the brand. So once we came back and we put this thing together, we knew we will expand into other languages. So we wanted a brand name which was very simple, very easy to recall, and kind of AHA was one of the three options we had. And in fact, trivia I'll give you, the other option was Super, SOOPER, because that's something people use when they see good content, they will say super. But AHA, I think, has, the ability like Hulu to travel anywhere in the world. It kind of takes the emotion of the content that is there. And it's alphabet A, so it also helps in search. The tick you see there is from the Telugu alphabets. When you write the AHA in Telugu, you will see that like a matra in Hindi. So that's what it is. The color was a very hard, long discussion because we wanted to stand out and we also wanted to be festive and celebratory, and hence orange kind of gave us that advantage. And in fact, a lot of people when we go to tier 2, tier 3 tell us that, the orange app, and that was there. But I think the big thing that we've learned, which is why Ram was touching on that national local thing, is that we couldn't have run AHA or, manage this from sitting in Mumbai. If you want to be a leading local player, you've got to be in the market. And that is what we also promised in our positioning. We sign off very simply AHA, 100% Telugu, web series and movies. And that I think has become, apart from the brand name and the color, a big recall point. When we have gone back to do research, which I'll talk in a bit, they say Mana app, it's my app. When I go to AHA, I only see Telugu. I don't have to look for Telugu content, unlike the other apps, despite us being very young and, and at an SVOD with a price to pay. So I think that was a big learning for us, that the local, playing to that local pride and obviously giving them good content is the way to go if you want to be a dominant player in OTT in the regions across the country. And by regions, I just don't mean South, across all regions. We've just done, I wanted to share with you, first time I'm sharing actually. From August, we started a tracker. The tracker we're doing with Ormax, which some of you would be aware of. Sailesh is a friend and has always been very supportive. We wanted him to do an independent tracker rather than our internal tracker. And we put it out for over 2 months and we again bringing it back. And we went across about 6-7 towns to just test one thing, that in terms of unaided recall, where are we? Because some of our competitors have been there for 3, 4, 5 years. And already by August, in terms of unaided, so we did not prompt them. We only asked them, which is your favorite app to go and watch Telugu content, the web series they call it. And we are already the number 2 in terms of unaided recall. And that was very heartening to know that, despite limited marketing, we haven't been able to do our outdoor campaigns or print campaigns because of COVID. The recall is fairly high already. So that's something I thought as an insight would be interesting to share with you guys. Backed by ViewLift, we have managed to, we are now available across. Typically, it's a 2-year journey for apps to go from mobile to all the devices. But the product team has done a fabulous job, and We are now available on Roku, Samsung, LG, Fire Stick, you name it, and we are available across all. In terms of the partners we work with, I talked about Mozart. Wherever it needs local nuances, like a creative agency is PAD, one of the best boutique local agencies. We also have other local partners, but wherever we need, international insight and understanding. So our main media agency is Group M. Motivator out of Bombay is our media agency. Our digital performance marketing is done by Merkel Sokrati. They're the ones who also manage for Swiggy, and that's what we saw. The data was good, and they are on board. They're based in Pune. So we have managed a mix of some of the best partners to come and work with us, and we are very, very happy with where we are. So product and marketing sets the base for it, but finally it's about content. And I think I'll let Ram start the content part of the.
Yeah. So the content, as I said, yeah, that's a majority part of it, where the cost also goes. So coming to the content, we have a huge number of shows lined up from Diwali to Diwali. So this Diwali, we're having a small event as well in Hyderabad, which you already mentioned, where we're doing a launch by Mr. Allu Arjun with all the content pipeline. And from also the content from day one, which we launched, it's in February, from Mastis to Color Photo, which released recently. It's been a huge success, and the audience response also has been tremendous. And keeping that in mind, next 1 year, we have almost 52 shows lined up, 52. And for Diwali, we're launching these 5 shows. I think you can see it on the screen. Sam Jam, which is done by Samantha. It's one of the talk shows. And then Commitmental is by TVF. I'm sure you know TVF makers, the Permanent Roommates. And Marvin Tagada is a regional movie. Another Atidhi is also a regional one. These all are releasing for Diwali. And apart from this, we have almost, like I said, 52 shows lined up with all the big directors like Sukumar, Vamshi Paidipalli, then Trivikram. Then we have Surendra Reddy. So all the top-notch directors of Telugu have signed up for the next 1 year, where they're doing all shows. And maybe, like I said, next 1 year we want to do at least 50 shows. That's our content brief for the entire team as well. And we're working towards this, and we're confident that we'll achieve those numbers. So
yeah, so on content, just to add, most of you would be familiar with that OTT viewing pattern is a little bit like TV. You need to continuously feed the pipeline. Otherwise, not only do they not come to the app, they will actually uninstall it, because most of the youth will have a 32 GB phone. So what we have intended to do is that as AHA, because we are 100% Telugu, so our nearest competitor probably at its peak, that app has now doesn't exist anymore. At its peak, did about 8 shows a year. Everybody else does about 4 to 5 Telugu, because then they're also doing 4 to 5 in Tamil and so on and so forth. We'll give them 52 originals every year. And that is the stated intent, and that's a kind of investment appetite we have. The originals are split into 3 buckets. We do original series, we do original films, and we also do originals as non-fiction talk shows, docu-series, and so on and so forth. And we are fairly format agnostic. From 2 hours to 8-part series, we are open to all, and we have been doing all of those. We also very genre agnostic. I believe that OTT is a medium of extreme personalization. So while yes, thrillers and comedy and drama give you the maximum initial uptake, as has been the case studies around the world, we are looking at supernatural, looking at fantasy, action, adventure, kids. In fact, we have AHA Kids as a catalog with Chota Bheem content. So we believe that we need to cater to every single niche within the masses, and then it will grow by word of mouth. Some content will appeal to all, and some will remain in the niches that we've created it for. Over the next last few months, obviously the negative impact of COVID was that we could not shoot, but we did not stop giving them a show every week. So we went into massive acquisition mode. And it's interesting, initially in April and May, we saw some resistance. A lot of the film producers were holding back their films. But from June onwards, they started coming to us. And we launched a film in July, which was a very small film that went on to become a big hit called Bhanumati Ramakrishna. And ever since, so many producers reach out to us saying their films are ready, and they're not necessarily waiting for theaters to release. I do believe that cinema and OTT will coexist. But the good thing is we managed to give our audience something every week, even during COVID. And now once we started shoot in September, we have the first lineup of shows that Ram was talking about. Going forward, it's again an interesting, trivia. In the first 2-3 months, we worked with young directors and relatively younger stars because we wanted to show proof of concept. Now we're working with, you name it, we're working with Rana Daggubati, we're working with Samantha Akineni. We just launched a poster yesterday of a show with Tamanna Bhatia. In terms of actors, you will not, directors, you may not know them, most of you, but you name the top 10 directors of Telugu, 8 of them are already signed. So we are working with Sukumar Garu, we have shows with Harish Shankar, Surinder Reddy, Krish, Nandini Reddy. Vamshi Padipalli is not only doing a show for us, he's actively advising us and mentoring the team. So we have signed up all the top directors, we're signing all the top actors, and so it's a local platform, but the content is going to be premium, and that is what we have promised to our audience. We are 100% Telugu, but within that we'll give you world-class content, and that is what I believe that so far they believe in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk a little more about the event at the end of it, because we actually want some of you to really travel. I know it's Diwali Eve on 13th, but Allu Arjun is as big as it gets. He's also one of our promoters. So coincidentally, both the actors who've launched, this is something that, I was telling Ram before I joined, that happens to all the Chinese OTT apps. The biggest stars there are stakeholders. We didn't plan it, but that's where
it happened. Yeah.
Where both Allu Arjun and Vijay Deverakonda have invested in the app, apart from being the brand ambassadors.
Correct.
So that is it from our side in terms of what we wanted to share. We wanted to leave a lot of time for you guys to ask questions. We thought we'll show you in the end one ad that we've just done, which was done by Momo Films based out of Mumbai. The creative agency was ad. If you haven't seen it, see, this will give you a sense of the two states and what we have managed to do in the last 6 months.
బస్సులో బోండం తాగుతుంటే ఆటోలో లగేజ్ ఎక్కిస్తూ ఉంటే 100% తెలుగు ఆహా ఎక్కడ చూసినా ఆహానే ఆహా బస్ స్టాప్ లో పోరితో వెయిటింగ్ చేస్తుంటే సెలూన్ లో కట్టింగ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటే 100% తెలుగు ఆహా ఎక్కడ చూసిన ఆహానే ఆహా ఎదురింటి ఆంటీ పక్కింటి చంటి కాలనీ మిల్క్ మెన్ బయట ఉండే వాచ్మెన్ అందరి నోట ఒకటే మాట 100% తెలుగు ఆహా అందరూ చూసేది ఆహానే ఆహా 100% తెలుగు ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ మన ఆహాలో మాత్రమే. ప్రతి ఆహా సబ్స్క్రిప్షన్ మీద 100 రూపీస్ ఆఫ్ పొందండి.
Sorry guys, it was playing with a lag, but that last bridge is from that one town which I think should be a global case study of how much OTT they watch. It's in Rajahmundry. That was the place that completely opened our minds to how big 100% Telugu can be.
Yeah.
Shilpa, that's it from us. So
you can take questions.
Yeah.
I think yes. Media has some questions, so I think we can start with the Q&A now.
Hi, Gaurav here. If I can ask first. Hi, Mr. Ramu, and hi, Ajit. Long time no see.
Hi, Gaurav. Come to Rajahmundry. I'll see you here.
Okay, 1 minute. First of all, congratulations. The ad looks fantastic, and so just wanted to understand. 52 shows and films and series, looks very premium, as you said. What kind of investments are we talking about in content per se? And because you said about
Gaurav, I told Ram yesterday that Gaurav will definitely ask you this question.
So I'll not get into the numbers as specifically because we can't disclose everything. But like I said, what are the shows we're talking in terms of premium content and quality content? We are investing enough to give the audience that experience. I can assure you on that.
But if you want to back calculate, Gaurav, which you do very well always, on an average, the cost of production in Telugu will be about half of Hindi. But in terms of that level, we are rolling it out. And remember, we're working with these biggest directors. And today, Telugu sometimes have budgets. So we are, it's a significant investment. On an average, but it won't be the level of Hindi language
No.
investments.
I can tell you a long time. So in long, like the overall vision for us, like I said, we want to be the number one in Telugu. You know, like my father chairman, he always believe in being number one because we are a Hyderabad-based group. We're into real estate, we're the number one company. Mass cement, we are one of the largest companies in South. So we do a revenue of close to $1 billion. Even in AHA, we want to be the number one in the country, whatever nation local. What Ajit was saying, we want to be a nation local in all the regional languages in the long term. So we are open to invest whatever amount it takes. Let's say we have prepared for an outlay of 1,000 crores in the immediate. So just to give a broad number.
Okay. And also, so this investments is you said you already have Alu Arvind and Vijay as investors. So between three, or you are looking to raise funds externally also?
So that's this is a question. We already got the hype, like you've seen last 6 months. It's been a great success. So to be honest, we already have people approaching us for investments. But right now we're not keen to open up. But in the long run, maybe we will be open. But immediately we're not. We already have offers actually. To be honest, like I said, we have the appetite. We have the appetite to grow because we're a bigger group. So we said let's review it. But we're open to that at a later date.
Okay. And you said the total market you are saying is about 50 million, right? The Telugu speaking audience. There
are 100 million Telugu speaking people. 100 million. Out of which the 50 million, the internet penetration is already there. 50 million. So 50 million people are currently already watching various videos, like you can call it Amazon or YouTube, whatever. The video streaming already 50 million in the Telugu states. And this is obviously.
Sorry, what I mean to say is the paying propensity. How many people can pay for the app? Because many are just FTA viewers or free viewers. So how many do they have that propensity to pay? That market, if you can just tell me then.
Yeah, like I said, see, Telugu people are, Ajit was just telling the numbers, people watch a lot of content and they consume a lot of content. So like whatever we're saying, the cost is 365 is a very reasonable price, what we kind of think. And as long as we give the premium and good content, we strongly believe in the long run that they will pay. See, like if you see the cable connections, they're not less cheap. Like with the new trial regulation, for Tata Sky, you're talking about paying what 70,000 per annum. If you see Tata Sky, what are the free to air channels also if you pay per annum cost, I'm saying. So even the channels are now kind of pretty expensive. Even I feel in the long run, with the audience kind of maturing, we are confident that they will pay. It's a question of only content, right? So when you see the big movies like Bahubali, nobody expected that they'll do such big numbers. So the market has opened up. So especially the entertainment side, you give them the right content, right product. I just feel sky's the limit.
I believe, Gaurav, the FTA audience is the remaining 50 million, right? So I believe, and I truly believe that across the country, the entire cable TV audience are all willing to pay for OTT. Just that most of us are shying away from going S-word because we want the numbers. I think long term, what we retain is the paying subscribers. So I think the entire 50 million and definitely 25% of them are ready now. So if you calculate, at least 12 million is available.
Right. Okay.
Sajid, there's a question here from Sajid. The prospect of bringing other languages on AHA, will it materialize in the coming year or it will take time?
No, so it's very much on the cards, but like I said, right now our focus is 100% Telugu. But we have plans on that. Maybe next meeting when we all meet, we'll come back to you with the plan.
Sajid, but coming here for sure. We'll tell you in December which one.
Yeah.
One more question from Sneha from Social Samosa. The question is that since AHA, according to you, has established itself as a household name in AP and Telangana, you also spoke about going Masi. So since players like Netflix, Amazon, I'm assuming it's Amazon, it says Amazon.
It's Amazon.
Yeah. And Woot are already offering exclusive regional content, say for Telugu. What's in it for those consumers? Is AHA also eyeing them? And if yes, how?
Yeah, so like how Ajit mentioned, all put together, your Amazon or whatever, ZFA, whoever, they've done like maybe 10 originals in Telugu. And we as AHA, we're talking about 52 originals. And I don't see anybody as a competitor because like I said, we're the first player in the local market where we're number one. So like I said, we are open to spend any number of amounts and we are going to consolidate strongly here. So I don't see anybody as a big threat. And like I said, we're welcome for competition. Even Amazon or whoever comes in, we're open for the competition. We will target every audience. We will target the Amazon audience. We will target the ZFA audience. We'll target every audience in the Telugu states. We're not going to leave out anybody.
So the big differentiation for us is at three levels, right? First is the sheer volume and frequency of new content that will give them, which currently none of the players are.
Exactly.
And finally, they will come to the app only when the new content is there. We give them 2 shows on a weekend, they finish it off by Saturday. That's how fast these guys are watching. So that's the first differentiation versus others. Second is that, remember, this content is being curated by some of the best content minds in the state. I mean, traditionally, none of the international studios have been able to make a mark here, not because they didn't have the intent or see the potential of Telugu, but the local insights and the local content. The sensibilities are very, very different. In fact, from Telugu to Tamil, it changes as much as from Tamil to Malayalam. So the whole thing of being here locally based and being able to understand that, to be able to give that sharply curated content, and not just the originals, but even the films that we acquire. We're not acquiring those big films, but the films we've acquired so far, if you look at in October, there's a film we launched called Color Photo. Yeah. It's on this country's obsession with fair skin. And that film has been bigger than any other film on any platform from what I hear, correct, especially in tier 2, tier 3. Now that film, people in Mumbai or Delhi would not even know about, because it's a very small film, no stars. But because of the management and the promoter backing that we have, we are able to see that. So that's second. And third is that marketing, right? Very often the marketing of all the OTT players has been targeting only Hyderabad. But there's a big market out there. In fact, in terms of cinema tickets, it's the only part of the country where single screens still work. So Andhra Pradesh is a big market. Yeah. And we are marketing like this campaign we are launching with Samantha next week, this weekend. We are going to 40 towns with outdoor, outside of Hyderabad. So I think between the three, the differentiation is clear. Having said that, is there space for more? Absolutely. I believe for youngsters with a 32 GB phone, at least 3 OTT apps they'll have. We want to be the first one of them.
Correct. Thank you.
The next question, Ajit.
Yes. So there's a question from Lata from Mint. How important is
I read it, Shilpa. Shilpa, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Lata. How are you?
Good, Ajit. How are you?
Good. So the very technical question, very early days, but I'll tell you from the trends we've seen. So when we started out last year, we had no non-fiction in the pipeline because we were focusing on genres, which is thrillers and comedy and dramas and all of it. But if you looked at the data in the last 2 years from both the international platforms, there are 2 genres that have really stood out in non-scripted. One is docu-series. I think it's fabulous.
Okay.
The kind of story they're telling. In fact, I believe docu-series is, stranger than fiction. So that's something that we put as a big focus. In fact, we're working with the producers of Bahubali to do a docu-series as we talk. And the second one that has really come through is comedy. Comedy non-fiction. We have just launched a show. On that slide you saw, there was a show called Tamasha with Harsha. It's not exactly like Kapil. It's more like a stand-up come some amount of skits and talk shows. So that we have done. So I think comedy and docu-series will be a big part of it. But I fundamentally also believe that reality, like Big Boss, if you look at the skews of Big Boss on OTT, on the other platforms, it's very high. Reality will work. And talk shows, because I believe that talk shows are not just about numbers, but also about what the platform believes in. So the show we launched with Samantha called Sam Jam is entertaining, is fun, but the heart of it is trying to have a conversation every week with the audience of AHA and fans of her. So like the first episode that launches this Friday is about the increase in mental health issues during COVID. And Vijay himself has a company called Rowdy, and he believes in that. He talks to the youth in his own way. So we have done that. We've got experts to talk about it. And in the audience, we had youth. We talked about it. And we also are trying to make a difference, not through just cash gifts, but trying to do a call to action. So so I think these 4 genres in non-scripted will be something that we will do. Not all of them with the intent of being massy. Some of them with the intent of just standing for something.
Have you had non-scripted on the platform so far? And because not a lot of services do much non-scripted.
No, we didn't have. We just had a talk show called All Is Well. But that was more to kind of just manage something in COVID on Zoom. The first one is Tamasha, which launched last week. And the second one is Sam Jam, which starts this Friday.
Any thoughts on why it doesn't happen so much? Because you clearly enunciated it as one of your 3 kind of breakdown genres.
I think the non-fiction does not render itself to binge watching. So which is why initially it's not have, but you can come back to the stand-up comedies that you see on the international platforms, right? So it's
Sure.
not habit point of view. I think it's a matter of time. But I would say docu-series is now a category in itself around the world. So I would in fact take docu-series out of non-fiction and say that's a core of OTT. But the rest of non-fiction, like, the song and dance talent shows, I don't think it's a medium for it, but I might be wrong. But comedy, absolutely yes.
Okay. Great, thank you.
There's a question from Gargi of IndianTelevision.com. Many congratulations for the launch. Could you talk a bit about distribution strategy? Have you partnered with telcos and ISPs? When do you estimate to break even? 2 questions there.
Break even, I'll leave for Ram. I'm going to take that, then I'll take the first part.
Yeah, no, you all know about this business very well. So we have large plans. So I cannot tell you specifically when we break even, but I'm confident in the next 3 to 4 years, with the kind of ambitions we have and with the kind of roadmap we have, maybe in 3 years to 4 years, we should be able to break even if everything goes well. That's a target for Ajit. So let's see.
Or we'll find investors and
do something. Yeah.
Gargi, to be honest, very early to answer that. I was just putting Ram in the spot so that he doesn't ask me for break even next year. Otherwise, Gaurav will ask me.
No, we have ambitions. Like I said, these all are things. We hope. Let's see how it goes.
Gaurav, ab PNL mat puchna, but Gargi, coming back to your first question. Firstly, thank you so much. On the distribution strategy, we have been a bit conservative for a very aggressive company. So I'll tell you fairly honestly why we've been a bit conservative. So we've put ourselves out everywhere where the audience has touch points, whether it's Samsung, LG, Sony, Roku, Fire Stick, MI Stick, all of that we put in. So we are available everywhere. But we have not aggressively pursued a strategy of partnership with other aggregators yet, because we believe that once we do that, our organic growth will kind of get affected, even if we are making probably more money than being on our own. And we believe that we want to test the potential of how far can we push the Telugu audience on our own. And that's a function of why the promoters have been so aggressive. So there's no mandate that, try to break even this year. Instead, it's about push the boundary and get market share. So we have absolutely available across all platforms, but we have not really aggressively pursued aggregator strategies. The first one that we have closed, because we were able to do it on equal terms, is ACT. It's a big ISP provider in these 2 states. And with them, the good thing is that we are able to retain the audience. So we have done that. We'll see how that goes. And then we will. So we're not aggressively pursuing it consciously.
What's the part of Paytm and all that?
Yeah. But Paytm and all are more
gateway
aggregators.
Okay, I got it.
Did that answer your question?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have Nisha Qureshi from bestmediainfo.com. How much focus are you giving to acquired content as opposed to originals? You said the pandemic has both helped you and also affected you. Can you elaborate on both aspects?
So let me put it upfront because the answer is very simple. We want to be the home of local originals. So our conscious stated strategy is originals. In terms of investment, it will probably be 70% and 30% will be acquisitions. But the last 6 months were different, where we have been more dependent on acquisitions because we couldn't shoot. But that is a simple answer to that. So the focus will be on originals because we believe that is where you build loyalty and you build a brand value. Because the films can, tomorrow somebody else comes with a bigger purse and they will take the films.
Yeah.
So we want to be the home of originals. To answer your second part of the question, yeah, I'll tell you how it's helped and how it's affected us. I think it's helped us on 2 fronts. One is that people have already, they were spending a lot of time on OTT. They have started spending even more time. But the other interesting thing we have seen is that when we started out, the viewership was almost 85 to 90% on mobile. We have seen that a shift to less than 60%. So a lot of people during the pandemic are watching OTT on the TV sets, which is great because a lot of our creators keep saying that, we're making some big things and we'd like to see them to see it in a big screen. So those 2 things, it's helped us. It's affected us in multiple ways. I think the first thing that affected us is that we could not create content, and that was our conscious strategy to be originals focused. Second one's affected our marketing. So what we are doing with Allu Arjun on 13th November was planned for 25th March and Ugadi, and we couldn't market. We have not been able to do outdoor because people are not coming out of home. We've not been able to print is still a very high reach here. We've not been able to do it. Our launches have been affected because we've been doing it on Zoom. So the audience has not been able to, or the media also has not been able to really meet the actors and in person and so on. So it's affected a lot on the marketing front and content front, but it's also helped us on the viewership front.
So the next question is from Sneha. The company states that the content is ad-free and it stands by it strongly to make the user experience smooth. Do you plan to continue doing so in the near future? Also, could you shed more light on the pricing strategy on the platform?
Yes. So there were two big discussions we had before we launched. One was on going multiple languages on day one or single language, which you know the answer. The second was this, that, ads versus this. It seems very exciting, the ad market. It's growing at a very rapid rate. But I believe that for a young new OTT, for us to attract any significant share of the advertising pie will be difficult in the near future, which I mean 2 to 3 years, versus an SVOD where we know that at least whatever content we're putting out, what is the willingness to pay. So SVOD is a riskier strategy, but I think it's if you have the right promoters and the right strategy, then it works. So in the near future, we have absolutely no intent of putting ads on the platform.
Correct.
But yes, we will be open to other advertising revenues, which is branded integrations, AFPs, in-film branding, all of that will be open to, but we will not put ads on the platform. And we are quite clear on that.
That's a clear call. That's a clear conscious call. We'll not do any ads currently.
Cool. Thank you.
This is Mariam from Money Control. Wanted to understand how much content AHA had when it launched and how much has the content portfolio grown in terms of percentage in the last 8 to 9 months. The second question, okay, I'll let you answer that, then we'll go to the second question, I guess.
Yeah, I'll answer both, Pranita. So we currently have, in terms of originals, 9 originals, though by now we should have had about 30. All of them were waiting for COVID to get over, but we have about a library of 250 films, of which about 50% are exclusive to us, and about 35 to 40 are premium titles that we have launched as AHA digital premieres. So that's where we are. So that's a skewed ratio because of COVID. We'll continue to build our movie library, but our intent is to give them one original film or show or non-fiction every week. Second question on AP and Telangana, absolutely the intent is to go well beyond, because we couldn't do, in fact, we have a big plan for US, which we have just started doing slowly, because US is a big market for Telugu speaking population. As of today, we have subscribers from 35 countries. The big one is of course US, followed by Middle East, Southeast Asia. Also, we have some decent numbers, but we also have people in the other continents as well. And we have some big plans for the US market.
Yeah, that should be our next big market target.
Right. Just one add-on. Just wanted to also understand in terms of, like you did mention in terms of movies, there are big plans, but currently there's one term that is trending, that is direct to digital releases on all the platforms. So in terms of that, what is the plan for AHA?
So that's been a learning curve for us. Because when we started out, we were getting theatrical movies coming onto AHA. It was easy for us. The marketing was done by the producers and we got that traction coming into AHA. So actually we had to fully redo the movie model during COVID, because remember, firstly, the cost of acquisition went up because the producers were not releasing it in theaters. The second is the cost of marketing came entirely onto us. The one thing we've done consciously on the movie marketing direct to digital is we're not marketing a movie like we would have marketed if theaters were open. That time we were focused fully on digital and we would take it straight. Now we are doing a movie marketing as if we are the producers for the film.
Exactly.
So we do like a poster launch. We do a full-fledged 3 event things where we do a trailer launch, a music launch. We do a pre-release event. We do a lot of outdoor and print
interviews with
actors. We take the actors. So whatever was marketing, movie marketing for theaters, we have replicated it. Once the theaters open, I think it will go back to not status quo, but probably a middle path between the two.
Right. Thank you so much.
If I may come in again, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure, Gaurav. Go ahead.
Ajit, you said about the aggregation model. You want to be the first one among the three apps that people will have. But now that we are seeing 30, 40, 50 apps already here, crystal gazing a bit in the future, do you see that ultimately this will be the model, the aggregation will be the model like TV? Because you have now specific to Telugu, I mean, just Telugu. Now there is an app which is only to documentary. So either theme-based or language-based apps are also coming up. Same like what happened with TV. And as you rightly said, there won't be place for 10 different apps on one mobile phone. So what do you see the future of so many apps?
So I think 40 will grow to 80 also, but none of them have tapped the local market properly. The problem with multi-language apps is that the investment is primarily in Hindi, right? So that is an opportunity we have seen, and which is why our next few mandate is also not Hindi. We're looking at other ways to be national local. And which you're seeing also in FTA now, right? The number one channel in TV is actually focused on only one part of the heartland. So, so I think aggregation will happen. The platforms will also change, and eventually there will be like a DTH equivalent, which already is happening, right?
Yeah,
but at the end of it, the brand preference in OTT will be much stronger than on television, because television there was still a fixed viewing pattern and by appointment. So here, the brands that give them enough content, good content, and premium content will be able to get a much higher market share than in TV, where every launch changes things. Here, if you keep giving them for them to go somewhere else, as you would know from your own personal preferences, right? True. If you are an avid watcher of one of the platforms, you will first give it a chance to watch their shows before you go anywhere else.
True.
I believe that this will get cluttered, but it will be dictated purely by the frequency and the quality of content. It will be ruthlessly on that. Nothing, no amount of marketing or distribution strategy can change that in OTT.
Content will decide everything.
True. No, but now that Netflix is experimenting with a linear channel on digital in France, I believe, and that is one problem which personally I have been facing a lot, because cut the cord like 2 years back, I'm switching on the TV and what to watch. Everything is on demand. Ultimately, I'm getting confused what to watch, and finally some old show just will start and run it. So that programming, do you think that programming, the ease and the familiarity of programming will have to be there somehow, somewhere in the future?
Absolutely. But by the time we get to learn that, we'll realize there are no mobile phones. Something else is coming. So
True.
I'm not going to predict what happens 3 years down the line, but it's interesting what they have done in France. We'll watch it. And I'll send you a curated list to watch today. There's some good ones.
Done. Thanks. Looking forward. Thank you. That's from my side.
Shilpa, is that it?
Yes, I think. Are there any questions? If you want to ask something? I think, Ajit, that's it. And in case we have further questions, I'll connect with I'll connect and get some more questions further.
Yeah. So good. Thanks everyone for joining us. And I would request all of you, I think all the seniors are here. If all of you can make it on the 13th of November, that's day after Friday night, it will be great to see you all here.
It's going to be a good event, guys. You'll see the entire Telugu film plus and OTT industry there. And Allu Arjun is himself kind of headlining the event. So would love for some of you to join. I know it's Diwali Eve.
Yeah, the weekend.
But,
it'll be great if you can join, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Hope to see all of you very soon again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pranita. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Pranita. Thank you, Shilpa.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.